Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through the tips for round 8, which was just a pathetic round for me, and then also going through and tipping for round 9. And this probably is going to be a shorter video as it wasn't the greatest round obviously for me, and we got to get through them, and it's coming to the point of the end where I know that I'm not going to finish in the top 50 or so, but I know I'm not going to finish below probably. If I tip right, then I won't finish below top 1,750 or so, because just the position that I'm in. But anyway, yeah, it was a really, really bad round in which I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 3.5 tips right this round somehow, which is just a really, really bad round. But anyway, before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So, as you can see here, Hawthorn against Richmond. I tipped Richmond by 17. They ended up winning by 11, so I was 6 points off there, which is a really good tip in the end. And yeah, and then it pretty much goes downhill from here. Even this game, which I got right, Sydney against Western Bulldogs, I got the tip, the team right, just didn't get the margin. They won by 56. I said by 11, so that's a 46-point gap. And yeah, this is sort of where it goes absolutely downhill. I said Adelaide by 13, lost by 3. That's 16 off. Yeah, they probably should have won it, but they left it for Brisbane to basically run it home, and Brisbane ran it home. I mean, if you just look at the final quarter, it was 1 behind to 1 goal 3. If you look at Brisbane were actually up by 1 goal 8 at halftime. And then it was 1 behind to it was 20-1 in the third quarter, which allowed Adelaide to get on top, and then they fluffed it in the last quarter. So that was a wrong tip. Then we moved to the next one, which was GWS against Carlton. I said Carlton by 26. They ended up losing by 2, so that was 28 points off, and you start to see the trend of just loss, loss, loss. I said Gold Coast by 32 in this game, and they drew. So yeah, I guess it's almost a question mark result. And obviously I was 32 points off in that, in the draw there. Then we moved to the next one. I said North by 8. They lost, figures. They lost by 23, so that was 31 points off. This is going to be like a 240s, 230s type of round, differential wise. And I was 114. Sorry, I was 139 last week, even with a couple of big scores. But then, no, this one's going to be absolutely huge, differential-wise. Then we go to this game, and I actually picked Collingwood over Geelong by 7 points. They won by 6, so I tipped that right, which was a good tip, and I tipped it by 1, which should help my overall margin for the round stay within touching distance. I tipped St Kilda by 15, and they lost, but these two results will blow it out here just looking at them. So I tipped this wrong by 39 points. Yeah, I tipped it wrong by 30, and then we get to the worst result of the round, a result in which I just skipped over thinking, yep, it's going to happen. West Coast aren't going to win. They won. I said Essendon to win by 52, and they lost by 4. So that was 56 points off. And I don't even want to do the tally here, but it's 52, 68, 96, 128, 159, 160, 199, 255 points differential for the round, which is over 110 points worse than my round before. Round 6, which I thought was a really bad round. I got a 155 margin differential across the round, so that's over 100 worse. Exactly 100 worse. The 152 in round 5, that's 103 worse. A 139 in round 4, so that was sort of my worst round for a good 5 or 6 rounds in terms of margin, and my worst round overall in terms of actual selections. So now we go to round 9. And hopefully I can get a better tipping for the round. So let's go to round 9 over here. And you'll see, I've got to get through this video because my battery on my laptop. So the first game of the round is tomorrow night. Gold Coast versus GWS. I think Gold Coast wins this game. I know GWS have won, but I just think that Gold Coast will win this game. I'm just going to tip almost the favourites at this point, just so that I can save face. No, I won't do that exactly, but I do think the Gold Coast will win this game, and I do think they will not necessarily flatten the GWS Giants, but I do think they'll win it by 28 points. So let's tip that, and let's just hope that Gold Coast can win it by 28 points so that my margin can hold, because if my margin can hold on the actual rankings, then it'll be much better. I won't have I can get a much better rank without actually getting as many tips. Melbourne against Freo. Melbourne are going to win this. I don't even know why it's a competition at this point. Melbourne have shown that they're the best team in the comp. They just flattened North, and I mean Adelaide lost to Brisbane, but I just think that Melbourne are the best team in the comp, and they're going to win against Freo by. I think it's going to be I think they're going to beat Freo by 50 points, to be honest with you, which is 2 goals a quarter, which isn't that surprising. Brisbane will beat St Kilda, simply said. I think they'll beat them. I think it was 2-4 rank or something. But yeah, I think Brisbane will beat St Kilda. It's 97% chance that that'll happen as per the everyone tipping. And I think they'll win by... St Kilda didn't put the best performance in, and Brisbane are third. So I think we'll see Brisbane win this one by 39 points, and I wouldn't be surprised if that blows out further. Then you got Essendon Carlton, and obviously Essendon put in a shocker of a performance against the Eagles, and Carlton I think put in a shocker as well, didn't they? They lost to the Giants. So on merit, you would think that Carlton would win, but I don't think Carlton's actually been at their best, to be honest, and I think they almost deserve to lose against the Swans a little bit back. And Essendon have been pretty good, so I'm actually going to tip the upset and watch. This game is totally going to go Carlton by 40 points, isn't it? Because I tipped Essendon, but I'm going to tip Essendon in a close one by 13 points. Then we have the bottom of, not actually the bottom of the table clash anymore. West Coast have somehow pulled that off. Who do I think is going to win this? Do I think West Coast are gonna somehow beat the Bulldogs? This could actually be the hardest tip of the round, to be honest with you. West Coast are going to have a new coach. Bulldogs are just shocking this year. Who did the Bulldogs play last round? They played the Swans and lost massively, and the Eagles won. So let's go to round 7 and see who they played. They played and lost the Crows by 42, whereas the Eagles, they lost to Melbourne by 70. So if I'm going to pick a team, I'm just going to go with the Bulldogs. Surely they don't go a winless season. So I'm going to pick the Bulldogs, and I'm going to pick them by, I think, 20... No, not 20 points. I think 19 points. Then you have Richmond against Geelong. Geelong have looked pathetic recently, and Richmond have actually looked all right. They're both at the same records. Geelong's have sort of skated by with a couple of big wins early on. Do I think Richmond's going to beat Geelong? I think Geelong are actually going to win this game against Richmond, just because I think they showed a little bit of fight at the end of that game against Collingwood. I think they kicked 2-1 or something like that in the last quarter. So I think they will win this game by 9 points. But knowing me, then Richmond are going to win this game. Then you have the Swans against Collingwood, and it's tough not to pick this. It's tough not to pick the Collingwood in this side, even though I love the Swans. Swans put it all together against the Bulldogs last week. Do they do it again for their last home game? I think they actually do. And this tip is probably going to get a little bit of hate, etc. But I don't care. It's my video and it's my tips. I want to tip the Swans here. I think the way that Malloy and Gardner worked is really it just showed that it's so good. Even though they're not going to have the best ruck matchup there. If it was Moffat in ruck, I reckon this would be a 25-75 split or a 30-70 split, to be honest. That's how big a split Moffat being out makes. But I'm still going to go Swans in a close one by 9 points. Then we go to Adelaide against the Kangaroos, and they're both coming off losses, but Adelaide was a little bit closer against Brisbane. What do I think is going to happen, actually? I mean, we don't know. Was Hatcher? I don't think Hatcher was injured, so I think she's still there. I think I'm just going to go with the crowd on this one and go Adelaide to win this game. And I'm going to pick Adelaide to win it by 11 points. Then we go to Hawthorn, Port Adelaide, and I'm going to pick Hawthorn as I think they've actually looked alright. And I think that they'll win this game by, I think it will be a tighter one, but I think they'll win it by 14 points. So those are the tips there. Hopefully I can actually get some tips right this round. But we'll wait and see on that one. But those are the tips, and I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow, Friday, for the team preview for the AFLW Fantasy Round 9, and then we'll have Round 10, and then it will be onto some other things, such as we'll have probably the draft for the men's sort of mock drafts, etc., and how the offs, and then there'll probably be a trading part as well, like the off season for the men's, and see how the trade period impacted fantasy, which it didn't impact it too much, to be honest with you. And then also we will have the draft and how sort of teams sort of stack up and how the draftees are going to impact AFL fantasy. And then we'll probably move over to the cricket, because by then that'll be about 20 days out from the start of the Big Bash, and we can move over to that. But anyway, that is the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.